Hello and welcome everyone. It is the final day of the Rumble stage and it's good to be back here for MSI 2021. I'm Julian Pastrytime Card. Joining me once again is Jordan Lyric Corby. Mate, it's been a bit, but how's it been going this Rumble week?
Yeah, it's been great, you know. I was on the desk yesterday, was missing you Pastrytime, but once again, we get blessed. We get the RNG Damwon matchup. We have C9 Mad Lions later today, so, you know, gonna be another banger.
Absolutely. Battle at the top of the mountain, though, to kick things off. DWG KIA currently in first. RNG looking to chase in there and hand DWG their second loss of this stage of the tournament. Of course, they haven't played again, which is why they have to decide that head-to-head. And, you know, going into the knockout stage first feels pretty good, gives you a slightly better seed, maybe makes your run towards that final a touch easier. But I think if nothing else, confidence, momentum, and showing that you're the better team when these are the two best teams in the tournament, right? Not just what we thought before things started, given the pedigree of these teams, given the history of these regions of international competition, but just by the standings right now, someone's got to be first and someone's got to be second, and it is going to be one of these two teams. So Royal going to look to keep DWG out and keep them 0-2 against them, and of course DWG looking for a little bit of revenge.
Yeah, I think both teams really looking for this win for different reasons, right? I think DWG wanting to pick up that first win against RNG. RNG won last time, as you just said, and for RNG, they haven't had the best showing yesterday in recent games. I feel like they've been relying too much on the split push, side lane, and backdoor strategies, so we need to see more out of RNG in this game.
Yeah, I mean, what is it that you'd maybe like to see as we are going to get into the draft? Senna going to be the first ban here. Like, what is the style that RNG kind of was known for? You know, maybe in the middle of the LPL where they were still brewing and still becoming, you know, the team they are now on this stage.
I still feel like there's a lot of different things RNG haven't shown. Like, we haven't seen them go that full-on, throw everything into Xiaohu style, which they were doing in the LPL. They've done it a tad bit, but not really to that extent. And we've really seen them stray away from team fighting comps overall. They drafted one in their last win against DWG, but lately it's been mostly the Twisted Fates. We've seen the Rise, the Nocturne, and it's been very hard for them once they get into the mid-game to contest a lot of these teams in straight-up 5v5s.
All right, well, I like it. The plan is either get him out of the side lanes and altogether, or get him into only one side lane, and that's Xiaohu there in the top lane. Zoe and Set going to be the next two bans. Love that ban up against ShowMaker in the mid lane.
I'm so happy, Pastry.
And then Thresh, Varus, Lee Sin, and Renekton is open, and Xiaohu maybe just going to take it here.
Yeah, and again, love the ban coming out from RNG. Take away ShowMaker. Zoe's too good on it. Cryin doesn't play it. Picking up that Renekton also sets up for both conditions. You can put everything into this lane for Xiaohu, and also, once again, Renekton is a great skirmisher, great at finding flanks or even just flash stunning in onto the enemy bot lane. And DWG KIA going with the tried and true Kai'Sa Udyr combo.
Yeah, and actually it looks like Morgana is going to be the answer, despite Wei being excellent on the Rumble, actually maybe one of the best Rumble jungle players in the tournament, certainly up there, if not the best. But going for Morgana, a champion we've seen a lot of players gravitate more towards, and as we heard from the desk, Udyr is just kind of becoming the best jungle pick again, which is very impressive for a champion that at least had some peripheral nerfs with Chemtank getting changed there as well. So I feel like both teams going to be going for comfort here. Looks like GALA is going to be on Tristana. Of note, Cryin can play Renekton, I believe, so there is a potential flex, which Morgana jungle will maybe help you if Xiaohu wants something else up against Khan. But we are expecting a top lane so far, as Nautilus, unsurprisingly, is going to get picked up here for the last pick of DWG's Phase 1.
Yeah, both team comps very standard so far, right? I love that you highlight the flex potential for RNG. Cryin definitely is a Renekton player himself, so can pick that one up. They have a lot of good kill pressure on that top side of the map so far. Now we're wondering where DWG will go with their next pick. I would think it would be for Khan's lane and giving ShowMaker the counter pick. Khan has been, you know, very comfortable on getting either something like the Gnar or the Sion if they want to go more a traditional 5v5 skirmishing comp, and just looking for something along those lines.
And looks like Sion is going to be the pick here, so Khan going to go back to Old Faithful, which is kind of funny for a player who's, you know, early forays into professional league. You know, more on champions like Jace, but hey, Khan has definitely been the weak side player for this team for a while now, and Sion fits him to a T. We've seen it already from multiple players, Khan himself included already this tournament. So, how are RNG going to finish off this comp? Are we just going to go to Gnar? We are indeed, so it is that Renekton flex. Xiaohu going to get a little counter pick there in top lane. Yeah,
and one thing this signals, right, is that RNG's comp is going to be a lot more about early game power. They're not going to have some insane skilling to fall back on. And surprisingly, we're getting a Rell. Rell isn't a champion we've seen too much, and not even a champion that Ming himself really gravitated towards, even when it was considered OP in the LPL. He was much more of a Nautilus player or an Alistar player.
Yeah, the other thing is, like, you know, typically you have something to combo with the Rell. There's nothing like super obvious right now. Obviously, Rell can find angles all on her own. It's one of the reasons she's so prized, even in her nerf state. If you find the right ultimate and you dive in at the right time, you can certainly make them feel that pressure. Last Viktor, going to be Viktor here. Very standard stuff here for ShowMaker. Should have a pretty good time actually up against Crayin's Renekton if he can keep the Croc at arm's length. But otherwise, I think the teams will be feeling very comfy coming into this. And the thing at least I like on the RNG side, yes, it's nice they've drafted a bit more early game. That was somewhere they struggled in the last time these two teams met. But this does feel quite a bit more 5v5 to me as well for RNG. So perhaps we will get a bit more team fighting, even if they don't have quite as much scaling to lean on.
Exactly, right? We definitely have a 5v5 comp coming out from them, but still very different. I think we look at RNG's comp, we know it's 100% on a timer. And I think when you move over to Damwon's comp is very nice because it's very good when the enemy comes into them. That's something that Viktor is just great at. And when you look at it, Renekton, Rell, Tristana, Gnar, all of them are going to be trying to jump in on the back line. You put down your gravity field, you can drop your Chaos Storm. Sion will also be buying space, and Ghost will just be allowed to free hit the enemy front line.
Yeah, should be a fun one to check out here. Nice way to kick off the final day of the Rumble stage. Two best teams going head-to-head here. Damwon's certainly going to be feeling the pressure from RNG early on. We'll see just how early, in fact. There are some tricks with both Rell and Nautilus very early on into the lanes. Or, you know, if you want to get invadey and try and disrupt the enemy jungle, because as always, Canyon versus Wei, a very fun matchup to watch here. Kind of a different one as well. Again, it is so funny to me that Udyr is just like, come all the way back around. Like, he was already picked a lot, right? Especially when Rumble and Morgana were banned almost permanently in the earlier stages of the tournament. But even with those champions getting opened up a little bit more, people still want Udyr. Like, Rumble would never have dropped through draft, you know, in week 1. And now, all the way here in the last day of the Rumble stage, moving in towards knockouts, Rumble is nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, and I think it's a combination of things, right? Obviously, we've seen a lot of players look very uncomfortable on the Rumble and Morgana, especially the Rumble, as you're highlighting. And two, just Udyr pairs better with more traditional mid lane mages. We've seen a lot of awkward combos of, like, you know, Viktor Rumble, Viktor Morgana, and they just really don't have any synergy. They don't work well together. You don't even get push in a lot of these mid lane matchups to enable a Rumble or a Morgana. So I think bringing back an Udyr, which combos much better with Viktor, Orianna, Zoe, makes a lot more sense.
I think so as well. And again, Damwon's certainly happy to play kind of back to a style they're very comfortable in here. We'll see how it all matches up in the lanes, though. As expected, it is going to be on RNG to get the game going early as BeryL and Canyon. Looks like they are just going to walk in and get a ward down. Can't imagine this is a late invade based on the rest of the team's positioning. But hey, always good to, you know, get some camps warded off early on and figure out where Wei is going to start. Both these junglers clear blisteringly fast, so any info you can get is a good bit, as it is going to be a walk in here. Canyon actually using that sweeper to move in, and perhaps it is going to be a full-on invade here, looking for that red buff early on.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder as well. Also interesting to note that we see Khan taking the Raptor camp on the top side, so this is going to be nice for him. I wonder if he's actually going to have to execute to it. Doesn't look like it. Going to be able to go up to top side with a little bit of a lead. Also isn't going to get pressured by Xiaohu at level 1. But I want to see how Wei adapts, because we're just seeing a full-on split map coming out from Canyon. He is going for those Raptors now. Ming and GALA need to feel a bit of pressure because Udyr is a champion, has the point-click CC, can always make his way down there. Khan is going to do the execute strat. Pastry also going to pick up the red buff.
Yeah, really nice here. There's something you see quite a lot with Sion players, and actually that invade was really nicely orchestrated by Damwon here. So Khan goes ahead and gets red. TP's top. That is something he has to sacrifice in order to make this work, but he'll be pretty happy with how things have kicked off. Although he's only level 1 right now, but he's just slapping Xiaohu in the 1v1 red buff Sion, even against a level 2 mini now. That's still winning pretty nicely on trades.
Right? He still gets to keep the red buff because he does execute to the camp, as has been pointed out before. Xiaohu's still going to feel fine. Sure, lost a bit of HP, but we know Khan is going to be on the survive side of this matchup. And I think for both teams, we're looking at different places. For RNG, we're looking at how Cryin can use the prio that he will be able to get from mid lane and transfer that around the map. I think we're expecting it to be bot. Again, Khan's going to be too much of an anchor up in that top lane.
Oh my goodness, they're going in for it. They get the stun as well. GALA going to set it up. Ghost is just dead here, I think. It is first blood on the table and collected by RNG.
And that came out of nowhere. I really didn't expect GALA to rocket jump in. Cryin maybe looking for a bit of blood too.
All right, just 1v1. There's no jungler in the area, so ShowMaker is going to be okay, but Cryin showing that you cannot sleep here as Canyon actually going to visit the mid lane now for Damwon. Now Cryin gonna have to get out of there, and again, where do you really go as Renekton does have the flash, but no dash, already used it trying to kill ShowMaker, running into the waiting arms of his buddy Xiaohu, does get the slice through, towards the crab he goes, spins the Q, gets a bit of health back, and Xiaohu is there to make sure his mid lane is okay.
And I'm wondering if we're gonna see more, because if you look at the bot lanes right now, everyone's coming up, Pastry.
Okay, Canyon, that's a very key smite, actually gets level 4, gets a ton of HP back, Xiaohu just gonna be left to die here to Canyon, as he will fall, but now mid lane actually is where they wanted to transfer the play, but BeryL's going to escape under the tower, so Damwon get a kill back.
Just nice read by Damwon. They had numbers advantage on the top side of the map because Canyon was obviously already here because he just ganked mid lane. We did see that Wei was on the bottom half taking that bot side scuttle. So far 1 for 1 in kills. Very interesting of where we've seen the pressure because we thought, hey, ShowMaker would want to just kind of sit back and chill. But Damwon fighting. Ooh!
Good flash. I like the trade a lot there. Ghost forced to flash out there. Ming more than happy to give that one up for the AD flash. We'll see if Wei can revisit. But remember, Wei also got 3 buffed with how that invade worked out. So is looking for a little bit extra here, trying to poke around, maybe use some of that extra time without camps to farm to try and gank. And I like the RNG are at least keeping up the pressure, even though Damwon did answer nicely. They're actually up a couple 100 gold right now.
I just need to remember once again, Pastry, that whenever RNG's bottom lane is on our screen, that a fight is absolutely going to break out. They've been the pressure point so far for RNG. They still have summoners up as well, and we need to remember, Ghost doesn't have flash, so this is a point you can't abuse as RNG.
Yeah, definitely expecting a lot of activity from both these supports. Ming and BeryL love to leave their lane and make things happen elsewhere, but Ming also very good in lane. We know, we've already seen it actually, that they are willing to get aggressive in the 2v2, so watch that ignite timer there for Ming as Cryin going in onto ShowMaker really has to find pressure here, right? You cannot let Viktor just sit back and harass you down and push you in. So I like that Cryin is trying to fight here. This is a matchup he'll be pretty comfy in, even though ShowMaker is in no real threat of dying 1v1.
It's one of those things, right, where neither mid laner really has kill threat on the other. At level 6, you know, when Cryin comes back from a base, maybe he can look for an all-in and try to force out a flash, but ShowMaker has to cleanse. I think he's fine. So this is really going to be a dynamic of, can Damwon scale to that point where they're good against RNG's comp, or can Cryin, again, impact the side lanes like we'd want to see him do?
Or can Canyon visit mid lane once again? There's the dash in. Canyon's like, I'm ready. But Cryin not going too far forward here again. 1v1 knows there's not much he can do except kind of poke at ShowMaker and keep him honest. So Canyon at least looking for an overextension, but doesn't waste too much time. Actually just runs straight through mid. Might be looking for the other side now, but I think more importantly, he's going to go for that Raptor camp that's about to freshly spawn. Hex Flash over the wall for Ming, though, gets the Blast Cone. Thought maybe there was something funny happening around the back of that tower, but no, it is just Ming being responsible and clearing the plants out from the river.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, we see that RNG are going to use their bot pry to go for Dragon. Still, Canyon not losing out on the opposite side. He's going to pick up the top side scuttle and looks like he's going to try and get either some information in RNG's top jungle, or maybe even potentially they're going to set up a dive on Xiaohu.
At it again here, BeryL low, no flash. Oh, he does have it, excuse me, but GALA just makes it sing. No problem at all as BeryL will fall.
Yeah, nice play by RNG. We have so much action going at the same time. Canyon.
Xiaohu, hop away. Ooh, a very good hop to kick things up, but there's just nothing you can do. Mini no act, take it all back. Canyon is almost going to fall down at Xiaohu. Is about to go Mega Khan. He's going to try and put an end to it all. Now the transform needs to come through, but it's not quite enough rage. Khan is going to get it as Wei slays the dragon.
Sadly, not there in time, and Damwon are going toe-to-toe, kill for kill on the opposite side of the map. Still, it's on your Sion, so not the most useful kill, but it's nice that they're shutting down this Gnar pick early on because look at Khan. He's 30 CS up.
Yeah, I mean, that's just all, you know, Xiaohu having to come down, then gets himself killed in the river. Chaos Storm there for ShowMaker in mid, but yeah, this is not what you envision when you counterpick Gnar into Sion. Maybe it's not nearly as one-sided for the Gnar, but you certainly don't expect the Khan to be absolutely destroying Xiaohu in CS.
It's just a beautiful adaptation from Damwon, even going from the level 1 of him picking up both of those camps, right? Then punishing the mistake from Xiaohu in river, and now I like that Damwon are continuously falling back on it as, you know, BeryL and Ming maybe potentially going to meet up. That's why I'm getting ready because
you gotta be careful.
Ming's on our screen.
Yeah, exactly. That's the alarm bells typically for RNG, as Wei is going to hit 6. Canyon, I got there a little bit ago, as Cryin is going to push in that wave as the teams do reset. Again, RNG did get that first dragon, so we'll have the option of snowballing that here. It does feel like RNG are leaning more into their bot lane pressure, using this Rell nicely, which is good to see. But the unfortunate side effect is that that leaves Xiaohu all on his own, and Damwon are more than happy to exploit that fact.
And, you know, RNG don't even really have the option to look topside. I feel like Khan is quickly getting to the place where he's unkillable. We can see that Khan is already making his way up, and I think if a 2v2 breaks out here, because we do see Wei on this side of the map, Damwon are solely in the lead.
Oh, he's actually going to get the chilling sign. Pops the ulti there as well. Looking for the 1v2, I guess, at this point, because Khan can't make it. That Rift Herald positioning is so awkward for the follow-up binding, and Canyon's going to flash out safely. But RNG's like, you know what? Maybe we'll just start this instead.
Yeah, and I guess Damwon feeling like they can't look for this because Khan not having the ultimate up, didn't want to make his way down, and RNG's bot lane also roaming over to secure this Herald for the side of RNG. I feel like GALA and Ming should be able to back off safely, so Damwon shouldn't really be able to punish a collapse or anything here. And just small win in favor of RNG, but we've said RNG are the team on the clock, so the longer this game is even, it's kind of the more Damwon is actually the team that is ramping up.
Yeah, don't let the gold lead kind of fool you, especially as the game drags on. GALA, though, back to farming here again. Will be the champion RNG will lean on the most as the game gets later, and he is off to a great start here. 2 kills already, up in CS by 10, which is nice up against Ghost, but it really is on GALA to snowball, I feel like, through this mid game, especially if they are going to continue throwing resources down there. We already determined that going top lane for to help Xiaohu is not really a thing you want to be doing, so he's just going to have to find impact in team fights with that Mega Gnar, which he is very good at doing, mind you. But again, Damwon is so good at keeping you away from them in any sort of protracted fight that even though the early skirmishes and the laning is going well for RNG right now. Oh, Xiaohu actually going to try and find something here under Khan. Does get a nice Mega Gnar there again. Cooldown's pretty low. It's also gated by your rage, so might as well use it when you can. Not really going to be a fight you have to go to, so just some blows traded back and forth. But with that Ignite, Khan has a lot more individual pressure in the 1v1. Is Cryin once again, just doing what he can, even on CS, is nice, as bottom lane is unsurprisingly where the action is, and Wei could be really looking for a big dive here.
Yeah, I think Wei could also just look to wrap around, and you have TP on Cryin as well, but Damwon once again going to answer on top side.
Yeah, but now oh, TP mid, that's a bad news for Xiaohu. He's got no friends coming at all. Canyon is going to take him out again, and Khan easily lives the tower that he was tanking, so it's going from bad to worse for Xiaohu, and unfortunately that bottom play was spotted out by Damwon. They are going to look for the tower here. The Rift Herald actually is going to ensure they win the race to first tower. And once again, we are going to split the map basically. Xiaohu, he's going to be left out to dry. It's going to be Canyon that's really got the big gold lead early on. And once again for RNG, it is all on GALA's Tristana.
And it's one of those things, right, where the plays from both teams were very telegraphed because of where the leads were on the map. You knew that Damwon was once again going to have Canyon full clear towards top side and look for a play on Xiaohu. We knew Wei was going to look to impact the bottom side of the map because that is where they have pressure. And now for RNG, the good thing is, right, they've broken down first turret. They can start rotating their bot lane around the map, start trying to open it up a bit more. But again, Damwon's still not far behind at all. Khan is going to be quite a menace because GALA really the only one who's going to be able to take down frontliners. But the good news is he's already on his Kraken Slayer.
Yeah, this is a very accelerated Tristana. 11-minute Kraken Slayer feels pretty good. Also kind of quietly, RNG getting that Herald, given how split this map is a pretty big deal as well. Not something you would have expected given the conditions of the Rift, but RNG will be happy to take it. That gives GALA the extra edge, gives them that tower here. And again, if they're going to be looking to snowball dragons, which you have to think they are, given how this map has already been playing out, should be able to get this Cloud Dragon that's coming up in 10 seconds with no real resistance. And again, it will be back to kind of hoping the game is still in a spot where you're ahead at about 25 minutes in. And from there, you have to try and win. Because if you don't get far enough ahead to kind of keep Damwon at bay, you're going to get outscaled.
The good thing for them, right, is that it's either going to be an Ocean or an Infernal Soul, so maybe they can get some damage back. As Khan's looking to trade, I don't think he's any kill pressure, so, RNG, hopefully I think they're praying to the Infernal Gods. I like their lane setup right now to where they have Cryin in a side lane because they can guarantee pressure mid with their 2v2, and Cryin on the Renekton will be very safe even if he is up against Ghost and BeryL.
All right, prayers answered, Lyric. It is Infernal Soul for RNG, so the LPL will be happy with that development. Canyon, though, is just completely taken over the top side river. Khan is working on these plates. Pops cleanse because, it was hanging out. Got the spellbook, might as well rotate through a few. Wasn't any pressure at all coming his way. I think has realized that Morgana is not interested in visiting his lane. Xiaohu is left alone. Oh, this just feels like bullying. Xiaohu gonna get stunned mid-hop and just bust it up into the air. Does flash out, and now reinforcements are coming through. Canyon took a little bit too much damage as Ming is gonna try and set it up, but Wei already gets the Chilling Smite down. What a great ulti there for Ming. Into the stun. Ignite is down, and that's a shutdown out for RNG as Khan. They're even gonna go for this as well, but I don't think you can dive this silent. So RNG, they'll have to be happy with one.
So finally, RNG reading the play. They know that this is where Damwon are going to consistently look. They send multiple members to answer. Sadly, Canyon not able to get far enough away, but RNG still want to look for an engage, but ShowMaker and BeryL are paying their due respect.
Yeah, again, Cryin, probably the least threatening member on the RNG side as far as engage goes, so very easy for BeryL and Ghost to just walk away there as ShowMaker does make his way back to mid lane. And I guess we'll get to answer the question of who is scarier at this point in the game, given that it's still close. We'll hold that thought though as Canyon looks for this one on Xiaohu, somehow Houdini's out of this.
Yeah, they even lock him down mid-jump, so he isn't able to get away, but luckily he does have the flash up, and Canyon was the one tanking, so not able to stay under turret for long. We do see the flash ultimate coming out from Ming into the E. Again, Canyon actually didn't have his flash up, I'm sorry, at this time, so not able to get away. And Khan's just too tanky. This is why we didn't expect to see RNG put up any pressure towards that top side. And I feel like the next objective we're going to be looking at is that next Rift Herald, which will be up very soon. So I think both teams should be looking to move their vision lines towards the top side of the map.
Certainly so, and Khan did have to flash, which is a nice concession. The RNG managed to pressure out of the top lane in that play. But where I was going earlier is GALA is far ahead in goal, but not by that much. Actually, Khan and Canyon pretty close behind him there. But, you know, what's better in this mid-game? 1, Krakenslayer Tristana, or 2, Frostfires, because it's some very tanky boys up in the top lane for Damwon that's going to make GALA's life pretty miserable if there's any sort of mid-game 5v5.
That's the thing, right? I feel like RNG are happier with where their gold is, but Damwon KIA are just happy that gold is still even. They are still fine. They are still outscaling as Khan gets rooted.
Ooh, could be a play they can make here. Ming again finding the initiation, Cryin over the top. And GALA, do you have enough bullets left in the tank? Absolutely he does. Gonna slay that Kraken, or in this case Sion, and RNG starting to build up a little bit of steam.
And this is the thing, right? RNG have all 5 members of the top side of the map. We look at the minimap. Canyon is down in bot side river. Ghost is obviously pushing out the wave bot. So Damwon KIA very cognizantly giving up the top side Rift Herald, and once again still just wanting to get more gold onto their carries.
Yeah, Ghost here gonna have to scrounge up some farmers, down 20 CS. Not to mention all the kills that GALA has received. He's actually got almost all of them. As you can see, the gold difference, oh my goodness, 2,000 between the Tristana and the Kai'Sa. That is some real bot diff. Oh, as Xiaohu is going to take the top tower as well. And RNG starting to really translate that pressure from bot to top now.
Yeah, Pastry, and honestly, this might be enough. Like a 2K gold lead on GALA, we're getting into the pits of, hey, we're going to get a very early soul, assuming RNG can also pick up that next dragon. Damwon aren't going to have a choice whether they fight them or not. They are going to have to go for that fight. And if RNG are stronger at that point in time, that's really all that RNG need for their composition to turn that into a Baron and then try to end the game.
Yeah, got that second Herald as well. So now mid lane out of it's feeling like a pretty soft target. They are going to line up for this dragon first, as Ghost will be able to finish off the tower. So getting much needed room and definitely some much desired gold there on the side of Damwon KIA, especially for Ghost. Leandri's also finished up ShowMaker. That is a huge boost to damage output there for the Viktor. In fact, Mythics in general have been finished by just about everyone. In fact, looks like Ming is beating way to Mythic, which is pretty fun, but this goes to show how much influence Ming has already had. He has 100% kill participation. Everywhere Ming goes, it's the same reason we always hold our breath when we see Ming on our screens. It just feels like somebody's gonna die if you're in the vicinity of this player.
And it also goes to show that, you know, in most of RNG's games, their bottom lane has been the best performers by far. They've taken over the lane, they've taken over the map, and they've snowballed a lot of RNG's games into wins. So it's good to see them once again stepping up here. Dragging up in 20 seconds, though. We want to see Damwon group up as 5 to start controlling vision. Xiaohu going to try and put some pressure on the top side of the map. He does have TP, and he is stacking that rage bar up.
Yeah, timely level 11 as well there, so a little bit of a boost to the ulti there for now, which is always nice, but RNG probably not wanting to navigate this vision war in the river, especially into Damwon's comp. They're going to try and bust through mid instead with this Herald that Wei's still holding on to, which I think is a much more sensible play. Now going to be a little bit split. Ming though has found the angle, but only finds Khan there. Getting himself knocked back doesn't feel very fun. We're going to throw a bit of poke over the wall, but Damwon are okay with this, right? This is a 5v5 they can still possibly take.
Yeah, Damwon are definitely happy if it is a front-to-back team fight. If Khan and Canyon are just standing in front, sure, GALA is ahead. He will chunk them. But for RNG, I still feel like they need flanks, or they need to find flash engages onto both ShowMaker and Ghost.
All right, we're going to trade here. Going to trade mid-outer for this dragon. Damwon are going to collect themselves a Drake, which is going to stop the Soul Snowball, which is good. But they are going to lose mid here. Actually, a hook from BeryL has found Wei. Now in a little bit of trouble. Big ulti there. Not enough black shield there, but oh no! We've had Ghost dive in. ShowMaker's going to get Wei, but that's not a sacrifice you want to be making there, as the rest of RNG are going to try and pick up another Xiaohu. Ready on the angle there with the ulti charging up, but not in just yet. RNG, do they want to re-engage? It's looking like it, but not not a whole lot of angles to try and find, so just a 1-for-1 trade there.
Yeah, Ghost getting a little bit ahead of himself. I think a 1-for-1 trade is fine, and you highlighted that Damwon stopped the Dragon Snowball from coming out. So overall, I feel like this play was a win for Damwon. I do think they, again, went a little bit overboard in the end, but still, that clock is going to be ticking longer, and we're going to see how they start it off. It is BeryL finding a really nice hook on the way. Black Shield not able to come out in time. He's going to get instantly bursted, but then that Killer Instinct coming out from Ghost, he gets deleted, and then both compositions kind of lose steam, right? A lot of the cooldowns from the side of Damwon and ShowMaker are already out, and RNG having no more engage to follow up.
Canyon is like, yep, getting right out of there as he's moving towards the river, sees Ming, instantly turns around. That is generally advisable. Ming is not a player you want to be face checking, especially when you're not too sure where anyone else is. Cryin also just going to go ahead and pull this wave, try and keep his tower healthier for a little bit longer. RNG have been slowed down a little bit, still up 2,500 gold or so as Damwon are invading this bottom side of the map, trying to get some vision for themselves. So you are gonna not have the the quick soul as your conditioner. You still have GALA, who's massive, by the way. 2 items already done, including a very critical LDR second, which you need to crack through the tanky lads in the top side. But RNG don't have the simple, oh, we'll just walk into this dragon pit at soul and force you to fight us where we're further ahead than you. They're gonna have to do a little bit more work, possibly around the Baron. Maybe just again continuing to find pressure on the side lanes like they have been throughout a lot of this tournament. Damwon again, no alarm bells just yet. They're pretty comfy in this spot despite being down a couple thousand gold.
That's the thing, right, is Damwon just need to keep rinsing and repeating the same play. You wait out the 5-minute timer, you farm up your jungle camps, you push out side lanes, then you group in front of Dragon. For RNG, though, I do feel like it needs to rely back on that side lane play. It's not going to be as potent, though, because we know Khan is ahead of Xiaohu. I really don't think Xiaohu has that much pressure in the isolated lane, but you still can try to send both Cryin and Xiaohu to opposite sides, maybe try and get ShowMaker to have to answer on one side of the map, and then collapse somewhere with numbers advantage and find a pick. To me, that's really the way that RNG want to push this game forward. Now with that kind of timer being set back a little bit.
And as much as we should praise GALA here for the work he's done to get to this spot. One of RNG's biggest strengths, I think, is actually their versatility, right? And we've been asking for more of it in this tournament. They've played way more in the side lanes, as you noted, than they certainly did in the LPL throughout a lot of their season. And for me, the reason they are such a versatile team is down to Ming. We've talked about it already, right? He's the player that always gets action going wherever he is on the map, and he has had the same impact on this game here. So even though GALA is the champion to watch as far as impact he'll have in this mid game, he needs to live or nothing is going to happen for RNG this game. Ming has been the player to set up all those plays, and that is going to be the case the entirety of this game, win or lose for RNG.
Ooh, Canyon though, I think he's fine, but yeah, I think the good thing for RNG is that GALA and Ming, in my opinion, have been the best performing players on RNG this tournament. Again, they have had some kind of spotty laning phases. I think against PSG is the one that stands out in my mind, but GALA's been performing exceptionally, and that's why, like you've said, we want to see them diversify a bit more. They've always played around side lanes in LPL, but the thing about playing around side lanes, right, it's not just like a generic buzzword. You can use that pressure in different ways. You can look to pressure a tier 2 turret. You can try to turn that into vision and find picks. You can try to rotate towards mid, create numbers advantage. And it feels like RNG have been really relying on it, again, to find like backdoors and things like this to find wins, rather than drafting a lot of these skirmishing or teamfight comps where someone like GALA could shine. But on the opposite end, I like that Damwon have kind of gone back to an identity that they know. Wolf was saying this on the desk, but it feels like a lot of those mistakes that we've been seeing out of Damwon aren't really coming about in these recent games. And this composition looks just like what you would see in the spring split. So falling back on what you know has been reliable for teams like DK, Mad Lion, C9, you name it.
Yeah, I think as often is the case in big tournaments, right, playing your way is more important than playing the meta in a lot of cases. You can't completely abandon the meta game, don't get me wrong, but often, playing what you're comfortable with, playing your style is the thing that will see more success when the differences between the teams are much slimmer at tournaments of this level, right? Zeal also finished for GALA. He is like fully pumped up, ready for this team fight. That Ghost doesn't even have item 2 like anywhere close, and GALA is ready with 2.5 items to kill everybody. Now, killing Khan and Canyon gonna be kind of a tall order, but they need this dragon, so they're gonna go for it here. And DK gonna try and cut him off, but they are gonna get the dragon by the looks of things. Indeed, Way will smite it, but now the team fight is gonna be the problem. Xiaohu looking to dive in there, but can't quite find it, and here comes Khan, baby. GALA, little too far forward, getting poked, but the shields are there to protect, and now Tristana gonna turn it back around, and that's good damage to Khan, who is very tanky. Oh, what a rude Canyon! Too far forward, is going to be forced to flash. And RNG going to back away. They're happy with the Drake. They don't want anything else to happen there.
No, both teams posturing like they want to look for the fight. I definitely think there's some conditions where either one could win. You can see that I think Damwon are a bit skeptical of their damage. Canyon, though.
Canyon again. Oh, okay, that's just inexcusable. In the Raptor pit, going to find himself bound up by Way and killed. Now, you cannot transfer pressure to Baron. In fact, RNG might just plow through mid and go straight to the objective.
Yeah, like you said, we see Canyon trying to steal away Raptors. He's just a little bit too far forward. RNG find it, and RNG have been the go-to team that if there's a chance to bait Baron, whether it is good or not, if there's a chance to finish Baron, RNG are always going to look for this play. A lot of cooldowns are down on the side of Damwon, but they do still have a lot of damage.
Ming no ulti, also low on HP as well, so gonna have to be a bit careful. Again, Khan can run in here forever and run interference. It feels like Ming actually gonna get hooked up. That's a good killer instinct, but now gonna have to get out of there as Xiaohu's trying to find the angle once again. The Baron, though, is already there as Canyon just back up alive, and now they're gonna go for the team fight. They grab that kill. BeryL is felled, and Cryin gonna be the trade perhaps, but no, not yet. It's RNG still keeping 5 alive as Canyon is looking to reinforce, but there's one there for Ghost, and now GALA locked up. He's gonna die as well. The shields are not enough to save him from ShowMaker, and that Baron is gonna be very costly for RNG as Canyon has clipped Xiaohu in the top red as well. It's gonna be Ming falling in Way. They might just lose all their Baron buffs here, slowed up by Khan, who's just so tanky. Straight through the tower, in for Ghost they go. That's a wonderful binding, but all they have to do is wait, and he's trying to get out in the shrubbery, but it's not going to be enough. There's the ace for Khan as Damwon shut them all down.
Pastry, it is absolutely tragic for RNG. We said they're not a team that's afraid to go for those Baron plays, but Damwon playing around it so beautifully. Like we said, they have a ton of AoE damage coming out. ShowMaker throwing out those lasers, setting down his gravity field as well. Ghost aggressively going in, not afraid. And the thing is, RNG had some big ultimates that were kind of wasted, right? We saw Xiaohu's ultimate come down. It really only hit ShowMaker. He flashed away instantly. And then it was Damwon KIA who actually had the better position going into the rest of that fight.
Yep, certainly looking good there for Damwon, who find the solution to Khan getting killed in the Baron, as we'll find out here in the new Axe Effect replay.
And we're going to see that Damwon need to start this off because RNG are on the Baron. And I want us to keep our eyes on Xiaohu because he's going to be the one to look for the re-engage. Goes in, finds the ult. I guess it's on to ShowMaker and BeryL. BeryL goes down, but again, your damage dealers are still alive. And Khan, since he got so far ahead, he's still pretty much unkillable unless GALA can just be consistently hitting on him. Ghost does go in. I love the way I say that. We're going to see Ghost continue to go forward. We see Canyon trying to stop the back of Xiao on the opposite side. Xiaohu is dead, so now for Damwon, they just need to keep going forward, and they're able to find all the Barons. Sad for Way, he's not able to get away.
There is man, watching that back with the tree, it's a comedy of errors in some of the situations as the Silent W gets that final kill. But ShowMaker died to a Morgana puddle, which is pretty funny. I realized why GALA died, though. He was in the gravity field a touch too long.
Yes, he was.
I saw stunned and I was like, how's it? Oh, Viktor. Little bit of a misposition there for GALA, who had a big bounty on his head as well. So a huge loss for RNG, not just in the, losing GALA is their biggest piece, even though GALA does have 3 items. He's ready to fight for this Infernal Soul in a minute 10. Gave a lot of gold away for that play. So RNG, game is probably closer than they want, let's put it that way. But they still have that soul, which is going to give them, a little bit of added scaling. That's certainly an advantage that someone can never get for themselves. This is a game that RNG, I think, can win as it gets later, but it's just going to get harder and harder to play, especially these big, 5v5s around objectives. So they are going to be looking for more picks. Way has been pretty accurate with his bindings so far, but it looks like GALA's going to reset because RNG know that this is a soul that they must get.
And I think there's a good thing for RNG here is that There's no flash on Ghost, and there's no flash on ShowMaker right now, but I think that one will be up in time for Dragon. But still, no summoners on key members. Damwon kind of posturing aggressively. They're just going to push in mid-wave and try and get control of River. We need to keep our eyes once again on Ming, on GALA, and if any members of RNG can actually find their way onto Damwon's backline, because I still think it should just be too hard for them to do that.
Yeah, I mean, no vision really here for RNG. It's all the vision belonging to Damwon. This is a very tough ask for RNG. They have to spend all this time clearing this vision. They want to contest for the Dragon. We'll see if they can do it. Xiaohu actually charging up, but again, Khan's in the brush, charging up Qs. Damwon are going to go ahead and get on this Dragon, but RNG are going to go for it here. They are going to get the Dragon. No, it should be Damwon that gets it, but the fight's going to begin instead. BeryL is going to be sacrificed to Ming. He found a massive angle into the ulti out of Xiaohu, and GALA's already grabbed himself the double kill. It's going to be a third there for RNG as Ghost is slain by Cryin, and RNG, they don't want the Dragon, baby. They'll take the team fight win.
And it makes you wonder, did Damwon prioritize trying to keep RNG away from the Dragon? Because we saw Gravity Field go down. BeryL went in trying to zone members away and keep them from coming in, and that pretty much just set up RNG for that massive teamfight win.
Such a good angle there for Ming, and Xiaohu with the perfect follow-up there as GALA. An embarrassment of targets to shoot there as Khan is going to try and stop this, but in front of his own tower, GALA is going to look to shoot him down. He's so tanky, man, but he's not tanky enough. Hops in with the black shield. It just feels so tricky to play against. In fact, Zombie Khan's running better interference than a live Khan, but now Khan dies for real. This is RNG. They're going to bust through mid and take at least this inhibitor.
Yeah, I think that's all they will be able to get. ShowMaker's already up. Ghost just respawning now. Maybe some resets coming out. Nice to see that Xiaohu's also taking a turret on the bottom side of the map. And like you're saying, it's being down to Ming, it's being down to now a big play from Xiaohu, and GALA was far enough ahead to dish out the damage. Cryin, though, might be dead.
This is the Udyr classic. You think you've gotten away. Oh, he actually has gotten away. I mean, he can chase you forever, but to what purpose? It's going to take a while to kill Cryin. You don't know where his team is, so Cryin is going to get to reset there. So let's just watch this again. Ming.
Let's see it, Pastry. We're going to see wraps around again. BeryL kind of sacrificing himself, but there it is. Right into the flash ultimate for Ming, and then Xiaohu following up. So many members locked down, and GALA just left untouched, able to do what he does best. And even a ton of AoE coming out from Wade, right? With his pull, with his ultimate. And those are the types of big playmaking action that you need coming out on the side of RNG.
Yeah, you know it's a good time for now when you don't even have to knock him into a wall. Just the mid-air scoop backwards into the air for Xiaohu was more than enough.
That damage
extra CC. I mean, yeah, it does do a lot as well as, oh goodness, GALA. That's not very fair.
It's just surprising how much, right, everyone on the side of RNG out-dealing everyone on the side of
Ming
Damwon.
did more damage than Wei. That's a good time. All right, Infinity Edge done now for GALA, who is just an absolute terror at this stage of the game. Even Khan has 3 very bulky armor items, right? Thormail, Randuin, has the steel caps, has the mythic as well. But GALA just not interested. And what defenses you have.
The thing I'm scared of, right, is that this game is now accelerated so much. We're 5K, almost 6K ahead for RNG. And the fact that all of that is on GALA, I think is the pretty scary thing for the side of Damwon. Because now it doesn't really matter that Khan and Canyon were the ones who got ahead in the early game. They're getting diminishing returns on those tank stats. They're getting to where GALA is only getting multiplicatively times stronger. As we got to pause, Xiaohu wants to be a little cheeky here, Pastry.
Yeah, on top of what, unfortunately for him, but I respect the intent for Xiaohu's play here. Is again, just trying to funnel them into their own base. Xiaohu actually has maybe found an angle onto Ghost, forces the flash at least, and now going to get himself out of there. It's the legs being bound up by the Dark Binding out of Khan. So no re-engage coming through for Damwon. Again, RNG, they have Baron to maybe play for. They've got the Dragon Soul once again up in a minute 35. GALA, please be careful. What a hook out of BeryL! Finds it so easily, and GALA, right as you say, gets himself shot down to Ming. That's a wonderful ulti, but unfortunately, it's just throwing your life away to ShowMaker for the second.
Yeah, and BeryL, like, Pastry, I cannot stress how important that play was. BeryL having, again, some bad times this tournament, some bad times this game, but the one pick he needed, he found. And now this should definitely be a Baron for the side of Damwon KIA. And honestly, Damwon can probably even turn that into getting pressure on the map to even just take the next Dragon.
Yeah, so RNG, I don't think they're going to have to contest this. Wei might look in for a steal here. That's all he can really do. But hard to find a flash into the pit, given the situation. In fact, Khan and BeryL are going to keep you out very easily, so not even close to the arena there for RNG. That will be a very clean Baron take there for Damwon off the back of BeryL's beautiful play.
And the thing is, Like, this is just so good for the side of DK, because think about it, right? Renekton's already at the points where you're pretty much just a stun bot. I'll get back to this point later, because let's just admire that beautiful flash show coming out from BeryL. Doesn't even matter if the Buster Shot comes out, because he is just instantly deleted. Ming, trying to be a true brother, goes in with his bot laner, and yeah, sadly goes down as well.
I mean, yeah, Trists often feel pretty confident in those situations, right? Because you can rocket jump yourself out of hooks when you time it right. Didn't time it right there for GALA. BeryL with the maximum punish, and Damwon turning this game all the way back around. They've got the Baron. They've kept the goal within 2,000. They're going to go back in for this Drake. In fact, RNG are going to challenge them here as Wei does find the binding there on Zakan. GALA, again, still terrifying if you can free here, but he must stay safe. Does have the Morgana, does have Ming, does have good frontline here that can be enabled. But Damwon happy to be patient here. Know that they're going to force RNG into this pit. In fact, Xiaohu's getting chased away by Canyon. But RNG are going to zerg down the Drake. They should be able to get it here. GALA straight in the pit. It's Canyon. Finds a steal, but Xiaohu with the massive ulti as GALA is going to find two. Did RNG bait them in again just to try and find the aces? Khan is low, but not dead. Canyon, though, not so lucky, as Cryan's going to take him out and make it fall there, as Khan's the only one left alive. And RNG are going to try and end the game.
And RNG somehow do it again against the other perceived best team in the tournament. It all came down to GALA and Ming, and they were able to do it.
All right, well, Khan, 1v5. Does have the Baron buff, is going to die. The Baron buff is now gone on RNG. They're going to collect the ace and the enemy next. Is 2-0 for RNG up against someone. A roller coaster of a game here, but it's RNG and GALA and Ming that come out on top in the end. Oh, the inhibitor's back. Maybe they have time. Maybe they have time. I may have spoke too soon. RNG gonna look for here, and I think they can still do it. It's just BeryL. They can only save the day, but there is no day to be saved. It has been seized by RNG.
And again, I'm just stunned. Ming, so many good plays in this game. GALA stepping up. All the gold and all the pressure was on him. I honestly feel like this was a winnable game from Damwon, but I think in those last two Dragon fights, you can see the pressure from RNG only needing one to have soul, because it felt like both times Damwon prioritized, hey, we need to get this Dragon, rather than focusing on their positioning if a fight broke out.
Yeah, it's kind of a funny thing to say, but really good use of that Dragon Soul pressure to find the team fight there. So really impressive stuff there for RNG. But after the break, we are going to take a closer look at RNG's win, as they are now just one win away from that top seed.
Dear me, I just wanted to tell you that soon, everything you know will change. We're part of the Breakout, part of an elite group of individuals that launched a global movement. The pioneers that changed the sole definition of a gamer. I'm you, from the future, and I just wanted to tell you that your future will be legendary. Exceed the game, unleash the future.
Welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk, where RNG secured their second win over Damwon KIA, and they are now just one win away from going into the semifinals as the top seed. It was a different game, Wolf, than the one we saw the first time around. Unfortunately for you, RNG gets the upper hand again, and a lot happened. Where would you like to start?
I mean, that was a crazy game. There was a lot going on. I feel like the draft did not go as planned for Damwon KIA. I think that was the biggest issue. Not a huge fan of Sion in this meta. I know it's one of Khan's best picks, but you can't really use it in this type of engaged comp if you don't have the range to back it up. And when Ming is playing as well as he is in every single fight on every skirmish on the map, what are you going to get done with it? It was a really rough time. You get a CS lead in the top lane, sure, but in every team fight, Khan is practically worthless.
Yeah, I think it's worth talking a little bit more about this draft because I very much agree with you. I think there was a bit of a range discrepancy because a lot of people will look at this RNG comp and initially think, well, it gets outscaled because you're running like Renekton, Gnar, and they're not going to be able to do much in a side lane. But I think this is actually more of a traditional front-to-back teamfight comp where the purpose of the Renekton and the Gnar is just to act as a front line for the Morgana and the Tristana to then play behind. And then when you contrast that to what Damwon have drafted themselves, everything looks good up until the Kai'Sa priority, where you then think about a front to back. That's not how she works. We talked a lot at the beginning of the day about how she wants to work with these champions that dive into the backline. Funnily enough, if RNG had drafted the Kai'Sa, you're like, oh, there's a Rell, Morgana, Renekton, all these things want to dive onto the backline. Yeah, I could see how that works. But in this composition, I think that the Kai'Sa really struggled to play, whereas the bot lane of RNG kind of got to do whatever they wanted. Yeah,
let's take a look at some replays from that bot lane. And Wolf, we talked a lot about that matchup specifically, but we did not expect Ming to show up this hard. I mean, we know he's good, but he smurfed this entire game.
I mean, this is really just overextending over and over from Damwon KIA in the bot lane, and I really trusted, actually, that RNG would have the advantage, but I didn't really think that it was going to end up being this big of a snowball. And with GALA getting such a massive gold advantage early on, he was able to get his Dominic super early, which meant that every single fight that Khan was involved in, again, every time he tried to engage, he got blown up so quickly. You fed so much gold over to the enemy carry, your comp just doesn't work anymore. And I feel like if you're playing a comp that's going to try to scale up with a Viktor, you don't really need to be that aggressive. That first engage especially was just too much.
It was, but as we come to know and love from Damwon KIA, they are never really out of a game. And I feel like the next replay we're going to look at, this could very well turn the game around. That was quite impressive, Vedius, that Damwon was able to salvage this situation.
Well, yes, because initially I thought that this was all doom and gloom for Damwon, especially after Canyon uncharacteristically gets caught out.
Yeah.
But then RNG, knowing that they have a numbers advantage and there's no enemy jungle, think that, hey, this is our opportunity to do the Baron. But then Damwon showcasing why they are one of the best team fighting teams in the world. They play very patiently. They try and use some of the mobility on their comp, and ShowMaker and Ghost are playing that front to back. But then watch how RNG slowly start to get split apart, and that's why Damwon see their opportunity. They know that there's a bunch of low health members. Ghost can get one pick after another. Canyon is rejoining the fray, and then just leveraging that front line of Khan, the RNG can no longer use that front to back comp. It was unfortunate that ShowMaker did die to the Morgana pool there, but overall it was an impressive fight from Damwon, and it looked like the beginning of a potential comeback, especially with how close the game was at this point in time.
Yeah, Wolf, when you look at what happened here and how they, they're scaling now, and then the Viktor's in the game and whatnot, what do you think the steps are that Damwon should have taken after this?
I mean, this is a fight that they handled really well, despite obviously the positioning that RNG had, and they kept ShowMaker and Ghost in the right position. They used Khan as a peel. They used the Sion that he's playing as a peel champion so that, their big damage dealers could actually eventually win out. But we saw in some of the, ensuing fights that happened afterwards, they tried to rush in. They were often behind on arriving on objectives, and they tried to rush in and use Sion as kind of an engage tool, and it really just didn't work out. And we saw Ghost as well try to overcommit to some fights that he got caught in, and there's just so much CC in this meta right now that you really have to play it slower. And I think they just got desperate, to be honest, when they could have played it a lot slower, especially in that last fight. I don't feel like you really had to fight it that way.
In my opinion, I think that while there are definitely criticisms that could be thrown towards Damwon, I was just once again impressed by how RNG played these fights. And like, we're going to talk a little bit more about it, but we have to bring attention to Ming. We talked about his laning phase. We talked about his synergy with GALA, but it really did feel like that Ming was the standout performer in a lot of those engages. And like, let's just bring up the highlight reel. Please bring up the highlight, because it was so well played by Ming in some of these engages. And like, he is of course our Oppo player of the game, but like some of the plays that he was set up, these are some of the early plays that he was able to make on the Rell. And funnily enough, I've spoken to a couple pros about this, and Rell is just considered weak right now after her nerfs. She doesn't feel like she has the same impact, but Ming's like, yeah, no, I don't care how weak she is if I see this opportunity to engage. And this in particular is just like, it was just so beautifully done. And this is why he is considered one of, if not the best support in the world and at this tournament. Like, finding these engages is what makes Ming so important to this team.
Yeah, he played out of his mind, and also his synergy with Xiaohu, I think. I mean, the Gnar was like, it was almost his funeral. Like, he was not getting any CS, he was down on kills, but still when it got to the team fights, Ming and Xiaohu together, they made it work.
Yeah, he was, I believe, 16 out of 16 in kill involvement in that game. So kill participation, 100%. He was really helping out Xiaohu in the top lane, as you mentioned already. And this is the kind of roaming style you see from Ming when their bot lane is comfortable, when they're doing fine. And it's a really big concern, I feel like, for Damwon KIA if they do meet RNG in either that top 4 spot or in the grand finals, because this is a big issue that continues to come up in terms of the bottom side.
And I think maybe to close us off here, we've talked a lot about kind of the clutch factor of RNG and that they control the map even if they don't necessarily are ahead in gold or whatnot. But none of that was needed here. They actually just played a straight up game of League of Legends.
It's true. I don't think that RNG did anything too crazy. They also didn't do their split push style. They actually buckled down, went for team fights, exactly what they did the last time against Damwon, and said, I think we team fight better than you. And now both times, I think RNG have proved, yeah, they do team fight better than Damwon do.
Very impressive. RNG with the 2-0 over Damwon, and we'll soon find out if PSG Talent can secure their spot in the semifinals as they face off against Pentanet.
Jazz has it, Pentanet has it. Ladies and gentlemen, Oceania will not go silent into the night. They will find their first whip and they will defeat Cloud9.
PSG should make it to knockout stage looking at their performance yesterday.
And honestly, it feels to me that they've like taken a step up and should now be taken very seriously to be the 3rd best team in this tournament.